Good evening, Photogs. For our technical moment tonight, I'm going to visit with you about autumn color. I'm going to share with you a website that I use when I'm deciding where I'm going to take my fall color trip. I'm also going to share with you the settings that I use and the method that I use when I'm editing the fall color photographs. And once that's done, I'm going to show you how to create a preset that will assist you in duplicating those fall color edits across all of your photographs without having to edit them one at a time. And with that, let's get started. This fall foliage map has been very helpful in helping Lisa and I decide where we're going to go and match that up with when we're going to go. Obviously, the farther north and the higher in elevation you go, the earlier the peak color occurs. So if you look at the SmokyMountain.com fall foliage map, across the bottom of the tab you'll see these dates. If you click on them one at a time, you'll see that the progression on the map shows the fall color dropping farther south as each week goes by. Right now we're at September the 26th, which just about matches up with today's date, and you'll notice that the fall color is near peak. Here's the legend here on the right hand side, and it looks like near peak is occurring right along the Canadian border. Next week, October the 3rd, it will move south and get deeper in color and continue until October. We're nearing Oklahoma. First week of November, near peak in Tulsa area. November 14th, we're at peak. November 21st, we move farther south into Texas. While no tool can be 100% like the map says, it's a pretty good guide, and it's been very helpful to Lisa and me. Now that you have a destination in mind, I want to share with you just a few ideas to help you zero in on that fall color. You might visit an arboretum, or you might try a national park. They have parks in almost 50 states. You might try looking for a scenic byway. And a good example would be the Blue Ridge Parkway going through North Carolina. Now that you have a destination and time in mind, I want to share with you just a few ideas that will help you zero in on your autumn color trip and where to go. You might try an arboretum or a botanical garden. Check out the website for American Horticultural Society for some ideas. Check out the National Park Service. With parks all over the United States, couldn't be a better time to visit a park when you're looking for autumn color. Check out National Scenic Byways, Blue Ridge Parkway, Hocking State Park in Ohio. If you can't get away from Oklahoma, try the Talimena Scenic Highway. That's a nationally recognized color adventure right here in Oklahoma. You've located your color, you've taken the photos, your outing is finished, you're back home, and you've created an autumn color collection album in Lightroom, and you've imported your photos. Let's talk about editing them and making that color pop. I didn't overcome my fear of over-editing color until I heard Dave Muller speaking about adjusting fireworks photos. Dave said, not only do photo viewers enjoy vibrant colors, they in fact expect them. Besides, these are your photos. You have creative license to do anything with them that you like. Using the methods that I'm about to share, you can be as bold as you want. Take this photo, for example. This was taken at Gooseberry Falls State Park in Minnesota. I intentionally took a photo that was okay to a vibrant oil painting scheme. Admittedly, it's overdone, but you get the idea. These are your photos. Have some fun. For most of my editing journey, I used the saturation and vibrance sliders exclusively. I stayed away from the HSL or hue and saturation luminance panel because I just simply didn't understand it. Forget about the calibration panel. It was just a mystery. Since then, I've learned that while the saturation and vibrance sliders are good tools in their own right, there's so much more that you can accomplish using all of the tools at your disposal. About a year ago, I saw this demonstration by Mark Denny on his landscape YouTube channel, and it changed the way that I edit photos. It so impressed me that I decided to share it with you tonight. Now I'm going to demonstrate what I learned from Mark by processing a photo in two separate ways. First, I'm going to utilize all of the tools except the saturation and vibrance sliders. Tools like picture profile, calibration, color grading, HSL, white balance, and so on. And then I'm going to take the same photograph and edit it using only the saturation and vibrance sliders. When I'm finished, we'll compare the two and the results, and I'm certain that those results will speak for themselves. When finished with that exercise, I'm going to show you how to create a preset that you can use as a template or starting point to carry the same results to all your fall foliage photos with just a single click. So let's get started. This unedited raw photo of a bridge was taken at Biltmore, the Vanderbilt estate in Asheville, North Carolina. In the pre-processed photo, you can tell by the leaf drop on the tree here in the center and the washed out colors that we arrived just a few days past peak. Now, the first thing that I like to do when I work on a fall color photo is change the color profile from wherever it was to Adobe Landscape. Let's do that now. Go to Profile. I'm at Adobe Color. We're going to switch to Adobe Landscape, and you can see the colors become richer already. Let's toggle back and forth and show you that example. Adobe Color, Adobe Landscape. Admittedly, it's a subtle change, but it's a good place to begin. Next, I like to use the white balance to give the photo an overall warmer feel. Toggling through the choices, you'll see that cloudy, shade, and flash will give you the three warmest results. Let's do that now. Going from as shot to daylight, cloudy, shade, and flash. Flash gives it a bit more blue. Let's see, I think shade. Now let's go to the custom settings and give this just a tad bit of blue, and let's look at the difference. Going from custom to as shot, back to custom. Yes, I like that. Next, I like to create a bit of an autumn soft feel by adjusting the texture and clarity. When working with sliders, I find it easiest to avoid overdoing the edit by clicking in the value box and using the arrows while watching the effect as it happens. You can also jump a value of 10 at a time by holding the Shift key while you're tapping the arrows up and down. Let's work on clarity now. Just to see what the effect does. Oh, and maximum. And back to 0. Now let's use the arrow key and the box so that I can watch what's happening as I go through the edit. I think let's stay at a -20 for the clarity. Now let's jump over to the texture. All the way down, all the way up. Let's go back to maybe a +5 maybe. Yeah, +5. I think a bit of negative dehaze will soften it also. Let's go there and see what that does. Yeah, I like that. Okay, that's where we'll stay. Let me toggle this effect on and off so that you can see what we've just done. I'm going to use the # key. There's the before and after. So far it's looking good. Now we want to create a copy of this picture that we can edit later on with only the saturation and vibrance sliders. So I'm going to right click on the photo, create virtual copy. And there's our virtual copy. Now we're at the exact same place on both photographs. There is no adjustments to the calibration and no adjustments to the color grading. So we'll leave this one for now. Go back to the raw file that we're going to edit, and I'm going to take us to the calibration section. Calibration section is an incredibly powerful tool. You can easily and quickly go too far, but it's a good place to change the richness and overall feel of the colors. So let's subtly do that now. Starting with the red primary channel, we're going to swing left and right to see what we got. Where we go to, pink, yellow. I think about 20 is where I think about 20. Now let's take a look at the red saturation. All the way down. All the way to 100. Yeah, let's go -10. Now let's go to the green primary channel. Swinging all the way to the left, we get yellow. All the way to the right. The colors are separated, but the reds are peachy color, and look at the color of the bridge. It's just all wrong. All the way to the left again. Greens and yellows get mushy. So let's go to the positive side and stop at maybe 20. Yeah, that's about right. Moving down to the green saturation. Green saturation certainly separates the greens from the yellows, but it makes it kind of crunchy. Let's dial the green saturation back to about 20 as well. Blue primary, swing left. Hello, red. Swing right. Ooh, terribly green. About a -5. We'll do what we want to do to separate the colors here. And for the saturation, I think about 15 to 20. Now let's go 25. All right. Now let's take a look at the tint for the shadows. Okay, that does it for the calibration section. Let's turn these off and turn them back on so you can see what we've accomplished. Again, not a major change, but certainly makes the fall colors brighter and pop. Moving on to the color grading section, this is another area where it doesn't take much to overdo an edit. Here I think using Adobe's preset color panel will give the best effect for highlights. Highlight section. On and off. Very subtle, but there it is, yes. And I want to bring the greens out and saturate them. So let's go to the shadows and turn on the color picker box, grab the eyedropper, and let's go to a dark green. No, you don't like that at all. Let's turn that back to 0 and try the midtones. Much better. All right, let's turn this on and off and see what we've accomplished. Off and on. Yes, I like that. The HSL panel is next, and this is where the magic really happens. Like all the adjustment panels, the place that you land is really a matter of personal preference. Let's play with the sliders and see what we get. Red. Swinging all the way left and right. You can really see the change happen in the bridge. I think I like it right about there. The orange. Taking it to the right, we lose our oranges. Taking it to the left, they get crunchy and unrealistic. So let's stay somewhere south of 0 and go to about -5. I don't want to, yes, about 35 on the greens. Now let's play with the saturation. Red saturation all the way down to nothing. Full blast. Let's go to about 20. Orange. That's about right at 10. Yellow. There we go, about 32. Green. There we go. Stay about -5 on the green. Now let's look at the luminance. On the red channel, watch the bridge. I think that's about right. Orange. About a -20 on the orange. Yellow. Wow. There's what really starts popping on that yellow. And the green. Let's stay about there. Now let's toggle the HSL panel changes on and off and see what we've done. Oh yeah. And now let's add a vignette. I usually like to use about a -20. Just draws the viewer's eye to the center of the photograph. And now let me toggle the entire edit on and off. Notice that we never touch the saturation or luminance sliders in the basic edit panels. On, off, and on again. Now, let's take that same photo and starting from the same point where no color changes have been done, let's edit using only saturation and luminance sliders. Now we'll open the copy of the photograph that we created at the beginning of the exercise. And if you'll recall, this one starts at the exact same place that all the edits began on the first photograph. Now, performing the same steps with luminance and saturation, I'm going to adjust the saturation and luminance sliders. I'm going to adjust the saturation all the way down to the left and then up to full blast to see what it will do. Saturation all the way to the left, all the way to the right, and I think a value of about 10 is about as far as I can go and make that look natural or still have it look natural. On the vibrance, all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom, I think maybe 15, 16. Yeah, that's about it for that. Now let's look at the vignette on. Bring the viewer's eye to the center. And now let's look at the difference. Toggling back and forth the backslash key, there's before, after, before, after, before. We can still take those yellows up just a little bit. Let's go back to the vibrance slider, basic, vibrance. Let's give it another 5. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Now let's go to the library panel. Let's look at the two photographs side by side, and you tell me which one you like the best. For me, the one with all of the edits where we changed the hue and the saturation is certainly the better choice for me. If you like what we've done, you want to save the results as a preset, we can do that now. Simply navigate to the Develop panel. Choose the photograph with the edits that you want to save as a preset. Navigate to the left side, and under Presets, you'll see User Presets and a plus sign. Click that. Again, be sure you've chosen the photo that you want to use for your preset. Click Create Preset. Give it a title. Autumn Color 2, because I already had one. And I'm going to put that in the group Yurdak, obviously. Choose what you want to use as an effect. I'm not going to put masking. I never use masking when I'm creating a preset. And I typically click Check All and click Create. So, once you have created your preset, you can use that on any of your photographs and do a quick one-click change. Let me demonstrate that now. This works on both JPEGs and RAW files. Here's the picture of the Gooseberry Falls that I showed you earlier. Note it's a JPEG. Let's go over here, and actually I've got 3 Autumn Color presets. Let's take a look at all 3 of them. Autumn Color 2, Color. Let's go to Autumn Color 2. And the nice thing about these presets is you can increase the effect or decrease the effect. The slider will give you just what you want. And now let's go over here and click Auto just to quickly adjust the tone. And we took that from that to that with a click, a slider, and a click. Done and done. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's been helpful. Now let's get out there and get some awesome autumn photos. Thanks a lot.